But it's this burning desire. This New York Times says 81% of people want to write a book. We know that less than 1% do.
Somebody's putting their hopes, their dreams, and they're handing them to you. It's a big responsibility you have.
We facilitate one of the 3 to 5 greatest days in someone's life. There's maybe the day that they got married, maybe the day that they had a kid, and then there's the day that they published their book. You have life lessons or story that you want to tell, or maybe even this fiction or children's book that's just dying to get out of you. If you had a lot of years and expertise to be able to do what you do, capture that knowledge, package that knowledge into a book, and that book will be one of the best things you ever do to grow your business.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Average Sucks Show, where we get an opportunity to meet people that live beyond average lives. People that are not only making a difference in their life, but also making a difference in the lives of people around them. And if you've ever considered getting a book done or publishing a book, I can guarantee you've been met with adversity and challenges and different things. Well, this gentleman you're about to meet not only has found a way to publish books for himself, he's found a way to publish thousands of books, up to 2 books a day, for some of the most big name entrepreneurs, movers and shakers out there in the world. He's on Forbes 30 Under 30. He has produced about 7,000 books, I believe he's produced. His company is doing tens and tens and tens of millions of dollars. And he's got one of the coolest names himself, but the name of his company is incredible too. Selfpublishing.com, and his name is Chandler Bolt. I don't think there's any better name in the world than Bolt. It's like, man, I'm going to make this thing happen. So we got introduced through some mutual friends, and I'm ready to pick his brain. So if you are looking to understand how to grow your business, be more effective, make things happen, are we going to talk about all of that today and more?
I hope so.
All right, how about I know so? Let's do it. Did I get all that right? Is it 30 under 30?
Yes, sir.
How old are you?
32 now.
That is not
fair.
I
wouldn't qualify today.
Yeah, so you were qualified for 30 under 30. How does somebody literally qualify for that? I got the under 30 part. That's a percentage.
You got to be under 30. You got to do something noteworthy. You've got to submit an application. You have to be referred by someone who's on the list.
Do you know who referred you?
I do. Yeah. It's a guy named Brett Hagler.
Give him a shout out right now.
Brett is the man. He runs that guy runs his nonprofit better than most people I know run their business. Okay. And so his new story is the nonprofit. They build homes for underprivileged people in Mexico and the U.S. and all kinds of stuff. But so he nominated me, and then I think some people would say maybe the asterisks on the Forbes. Somebody told me this the other day, that Forbes 30 under 30 is just scammers. Okay. It's like the. So
you're saying the under 30? Like, what about over 30? Are they not scammers?
I guess the list. There's some kind of running joke where, the Theranos chick was Forbes 30 under 30. Oh. There's a couple others. So I don't know. I'm still proud of it.
All right. Well,
I'm not a scammer.
I listen, you were out to dinner with like half my friends last night. I didn't get the invite, but I'm glad you guys had dinner.
Next time. We just met. Now I can take you out to dinner.
We'll figure out. Yeah, I'm gonna take you up on that, especially when I get to Austin. So love having you here. One of the biggest pain points in my life was to get my book done. I sat on that for 7 years. I had traveled all around the world. I've spoken thousands of times. I've built a company doing tens of millions of dollars, owned real estate, investing, great life, great family. Couldn't get a freaking book done. And so the fact that you figured that out, we'll get to that later. The part that I always am so intrigued by, like, what builds the entrepreneur? Because we are some demented people. Like, do you work hard?
Very.
Do you work a lot?
Yes.
You don't do the Tim Ferriss 4-hour bullshit work.
No.
Have you met anyone that worked for?
No.
I love Tim, but like, have you ever met anyone that literally figured out the 4-hour work week?
The 4-hour work week doesn't work unless you want a small 6-figure lifestyle business for the most part. Okay. Now, let's say you're 30 years into your career, maybe now you can have a 4-hour work week, but the 4-hour work week is maintenance mode or lifestyle, not I'm building. And so it's so funny. I was just in my childhood home this past weekend, and I'm pulling out in South Carolina. Okay. So I'm pulling out this goal list, And I apparently just read the 4-Hour Work Week because my goals
This is
were.
funny that I think I'm a median. I literally just brought that up. Nobody's asked you in all your podcasts about the 4-Hour Work Week, have they?
Not yet, but I'm literally reading these goals, and my goals are, to work as little as possible, to make millions of dollars, to travel the world. I'm like, yep, I think this is right after I read the 4-Hour Work Week, and then
How old were you then when you read it?
20, 21 maybe.
Okay, so like last week. Okay,
Yeah,
like 11 years ago. 11 years ago.
recently.
Yeah. Yeah, so you read that, and so you wrote that down. It's funny how whatever we read or just watched will influence us. Like, so I know, like I remember I was writing some marketing copy at one point, and I'm a Star Wars guy. Like old school, like I'm older than you. So I think my dad left my mom at the hospital when I was born, and went and watched what was it, the original New Hope, right? Left the hospital, came back, watched the movie. That's back a different world with the men and the women. It was different. And I remember when the new one came out in 2015, there was a line at the beginning, like it's something like, "This is where it all begins." So I wrote an email like thinking this is what matters. Do you know what I'm saying? What I realized about that is like, I think this is what the power of books is. What we read or what we listen to impacts us so much that literally in our eyes comes out our mouth. Like, I don't know if you ever experienced that before, but I typically would tell people, if you only read personal development books, you're probably going to be boring. If you only read documentaries, it's going to be boring. Only read fiction. Probably won't be boring if you read those adult novels that ladies read sometimes. But the interesting thing about it is words are just such a huge part of what we do. So did you start off in books, or did you, like, where was your first entrepreneurial endeavor that you did that was actually legal?
Yeah.
Like, I want to go back, like 10, 12, 11 years old. Like, where did
By
you...
the time, so early days, it was in high school.
Are you from Charleston, or are we from?
That's where I went to school.
Okay.
And I'm from middle of nowhere, South Carolina.
Give me a city.
It's called Walhalla.
Walhalla.
Shout out to Walhalla.
Walhalla.
It's right near Clemson. That's what most people have heard of.
We know Clemson.
If you're a football fan or something. So growing up, I mean, the very beginning was going to scout camp, and my mom sent me with a bunch of snacks and a cooler full of drinks, and I came back with a wad of cash and a switchblade knife.
Hold on, how far did you get in the Scouts?
Eagle Scout.
I was a week below. I don't think that's week below. You know what that is? I was like entry level. There were rules. I'm like, I'm out. So you made it all the way?
My dad borderline forced me to make it all the way, but he was an Eagle Scout, and he said, "You're not." I did learn a great lesson in that.
And then we're going to get back to the wad of cash.
And then we'll get back to the wad of cash. But the lesson I learned is he didn't ever say it like this, but I think this is maybe how I'll say it to my kids, is bolts don't quit. Like if you are going to start something, you finish it. And if you don't want to do it, don't do it. But if we start something, so if you play a sport, we're finishing the season. You're not quitting in the middle. If you go for Scouts, we're not quitting until we get to Eagle. So I know you don't want to do this, and I know your friends are calling you a nerd and making fun of you, and because you're in Scouts and it's not cool. But we're finishing it. And it's funny how when you look back at high school and all the things that were not cool in high school made you a better human being, but all the things that were cool made you a horrible human being.
And all the people that were cool usually become horrible human beings later. And I wasn't very cool, and I turned into a great human. I was like mid-level popular. Were you? Like there was popular.
Mid-tier.
There was like nerdy. I was like right in the middle. I could be friends with all of them.
Yeah,
I had
totally.
learned almost like my parents were married and stuff, but I learned a lot of times when parents get divorced, kids learn how to like manipulate and move. I learned out of my own insecurity how to like image control and kind of be friends, but not hang out too much. So I didn't have to do the things they exactly did. Did you live that way too?
Very similarly.
Yeah.
It's chameleon mode.
All right.
Right. Where it's like, you don't want to be so popular that you're not approachable to other people in the school, but then you don't want to be such a nerd. And, I was playing tennis. I was
tennis and Scouts. Oh my God.
So I'll tell you this quick story. You
made a lot of money. So anybody watching this right now, you're worried about yourself, my man. Tennis, Scouts, and he's turned out an amazing life for himself. So not to knock tennis and Scouts, but go ahead.
I mean, it's pretty nerdy.
It's cool when you get older. It's the rich people stuff.
It's the thing that has longevity. It's this funny story. So,
and then we're getting to the wad of cash.
I'll never forget playing tennis, and I'm, grew up in the middle of nowhere, country town, and this massive truck goes by, and they're revving their engine, smoke's going everywhere, and they just said, "Nerds, bunch of nerds."
Have you seen the show? You've seen the movie? Revenge of the Nerds? That's from the movie.
Oh, I never knew that.
You didn't know that. Like literally, they're probably older kids, more like my age. Nerds. There's a big guy named Chip. I know you remember the movie? Yeah. Well, I feel like I need Jamie from Joe Rogan. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was just this hilarious moment and a personification of what is cool in high school is not cool. Or it's the stuff we said earlier. It's the dichotomy of what's really good for you long term is not cool in high school and vice versa. But the wad of cash. So I'd
Your pastor would be so proud of you right now.
Go to Scout. What's that?
Your pastor would just be so proud of you right now for what you just said. The moral thing is not cool, but when you get older, it's necessary.
Yes.
Amen.
And it's a truism, right? With diet, with exercise, if it feels good in the short term, it's almost always good for you, or it's almost always bad for you long term. And if it feels difficult or uncomfortable in the short term, it's almost always good for you long term.
Hence writing a book. It's uncomfortable up front and long term. Change your life. Wad of cash, my friend.
So
that was the longest
my mom sent
open
me
loop.
a big open loop. My mom sent me to scout camp with a cooler full of drinks and a bunch of snacks. And my brain said, as soon as my friends wanted them, I said, hey, I'll sell them to you. And so I just sold them all. And so I had
Was that your pitch?
Yeah.
I want to hear your pitch. I know you think that was your pitch. Like, what did you say? So, like, you got what kind of cooler? What was no Igloo bag? Was Igloo?
It was probably Igloo.
There was no Yeti.
We were not that. My parents met working night shift at a factory.
Okay, it was like the Gatorade one, like the little. Yeah, I know.
It was the ghetto cooler.
So what was in it? Not Joel Cola.
I don't even know. Probably fudge rounds and Gatorade and all that stuff. But I mean, it's the basics of entrepreneurship. See a need, fill a need.
Yep.
Sell to someone's pain that they have, that they know that they have. I'm hungry. I want your snack.
So how did you do it? So like, were you super shy or confident or?
Shy early on, confident as I started putting myself out there. And
were you confident at this stage? Way to build an identity.
For money,
like a drug dealer of candy. Yeah. So you had this case. I'm always intrigued by this. So like, I believe sales. I don't believe anyone ever taught me sales. I believe that I knew it and I got better at it. I don't think I ever was a time I didn't know how to do it. I don't think anyone doesn't know how to ride a bike. I think they have the mechanics, just have to get organized. So if you could remember this, it'd be interesting to figure out, because there's a lot of people watching this. They want to get better at things and can use you as a model for this. You got this cooler, young kid. Somebody walks up to you, or do you open it? Do you eat some yourself? This wasn't your plan. You didn't wake up that morning and your mom said, go sell this to all those kids and come back with a wad of cash or I'll beat you, Chandler. That didn't happen. So like, I want to really break this down for a second, because if that experience would have went different and you would have gotten arrested for doing that or gotten in trouble or kicked out of camp, you might have changed your way of being. Yeah. It was a very positive, what I call a peak emotional experience. So you popped that thing open. Did one kid come over, can I have one? And you said, I'll sell it to you, fool? I mean, what happened?
So. I mean, I think people they knew I was loaded with snacks. And so there was a scarcity of it. And so I don't know. And everybody else's, actually is probably born out of my frugal blue collar family. Okay. Because they sent me with snacks and drinks. Everybody else's family sent them with money.
Got it.
And we weren't going to, we either don't have money for that, or we don't spend money on that kind of stuff. So we're just going to send you with it, because why would we send you with cash? It's cheaper. Yeah.
Did you go to the candy store before the movies like we did? When you went to the movies, did you go to the grocery store first? Doubt. Pick out like the snow
also,
caps?
We didn't go to the movies.
We didn't either when I was a kid either. But when we did go, we would go buy like gummy bears at the grocery store, sneak it in, sneak in a bottle of water.
In your mom's purse. But there was this weird conflicting thing where my family is very Christian. And so that was this weird moral dilemma where we're technically breaking the rules, sneaking in these snacks. We don't know how we feel about this, but also we're very frugal. It's sidebar, one of my favorite stories of my mom, because my parents didn't drink for 30 years.
Good for them.
And when they had me and my brother, because they said, they said there's these generational things that have happened for us that we're going to draw a line in the sand, and these generational curses stop here. And we're just going to create a new family, and not a new family, but a new life for our family that diverges from everyone else. Well, it's just a bunch of stuff. I think it wasn't even the drinking. It was the representation of that, or we're willing to give up vices for decades to raise a better family. So drinking was one expression of that. But my brother always tells this story where he's a Grammy-nominated rock and roll musician and did 81 shows with Taylor Swift. Oh, wow. Does a bunch, had been on the road for years. And one time before a concert, he was in his bourbon phase, and he had this really expensive bourbon, and he's drinking it. And then he just says, I'm good. And they're about to leave and go to the show. He doesn't want to drink the rest. He doesn't want to be drunk for the show. And he's reached the point of getting past the trauma of we don't waste anything. So he's like, yeah, I'm good. And my mom says, Seth, you're not going to drink the bourbon. But it's expensive. he's like,
Your
no,
mom
Mom.
said this?
Yeah, she's like, Seth, come on. Like, it's expensive. You got to finish it. And he said, no, I'm good. I don't want to play the show drunk. And so she keeps kind of insisting. And then finally they're getting ready to leave. And mind you, this is when my mom did not drink. And so they're about to go. And my mom, right as they get up from the table, my mom grabs the bourbon, looks both ways, chugs it. And he said, Mom, you don't drink. And she said, yeah, but I don't waste either.
Oh my God, that's great. That's the moral dilemma. Yeah.
It's the moral dilemma. But no, so I think it all stemmed from, if we're going back into that Scout story, they sent me with snacks. Everybody else's parents sent them with money. And I wanted money more than I wanted short-term enjoyment or a sugar high. And I just liked a wheel and deal. And somebody had a switchblade knife that I either didn't have or couldn't afford. And I said, I want that.
That's cool.
So let me trade what I do have for what I want and let me add value and package it. I don't think I was thinking any of those ways, but it's osmosis, you know?
Yeah. You picked it up somewhere. It's a survival
parents.
mechanism. Your parents. It's something interesting I've noticed about you. So you're in the books business. I want to talk about what you did prior to that. Have you always been a storyteller, enamored by stories? Because this is great. Like when I get someone on the show, like you are such a storyteller. Do you have like a process for that? You just go into a story. Like I've asked you 5 things and like immediately don't answer the question. You got a story. You're like a pastor. You're like, well, that reminds me of the time back in Jericho. You know what I mean? You're like immediately go to a wonderful place. I love stories. I teach influence for a profession. Have you always been a storyteller?
I think I've always been a natural storyteller, but I've really struggled to use it in my business and in what I teach.
Currently?
Yeah, I'd say so in some ways.
You're doing it right now.
When I'm doing structured teaching, right? This is an informal kind of podcast and interview. And so I think the struggle for me is I love telling stories, and people will make fun of me. They're like, you got your greatest hits stories that if I hang out with you long enough.
So you're saying an hour from now, we're going to hear it one more time.
Oh, no, these stories I don't tell.
Yeah, okay, got it. We're going to get them more too.
That's the sign of a great interviewer. But I've got those stories. But then for some reason, whenever I'm writing a book or teaching on a webinar or teaching a thing, I, for a long time, have not really hardly used stories because maybe it's out of insecurity or something else, but I just want to teach and I want it to be as valuable as possible. And I think the only way that I can do that is through teaching. And I think what I've had to unlearn, and we now teach this too with people writing books, is when I think about the most compelling books, talks, whatever, that resonate with me, they all have stories.
Yes.
But yet for some reason, there's this almost limiting belief or something that I don't want to waste people's time sharing stories.
I think you confuse teaching, like with your boring teachers you had when you were a kid, with actual learning. So learning, education comes from the Latin word educare, which means to draw from within. It means to understand things. So stories are hypnotic. I do hypnosis, and stories are very, very hypnotic. And what happens is as soon as someone's 7 to 15 seconds into a story, they are now drawing pictures, sounds, and feelings into their own life. So it's the greatest advantage to actually get someone to get something. So I know this is me interviewing you, but just give you a gift to walk away with, because I love sharing with people, is if and when, and you will, use stories to your advantage, what begins to happen is you've got the ability to actually get someone to leave with what it is that you shared. Because this is why you love Jesse Itzler if you saw him speak. I mean, Jesse's just a storyteller. Well, back when I was an MTV back in the day, like there was this guy came in, he walked in like this and Jordan's over here. He tells the story. So there's always a way to take what it is you teach and bury it in a story, because the story, the lesson is this big and the learning is this big. But if you take the whole thing and bury it in something, you get that breath you just had right there, which is that's where the altered state changes. So there's a simplistic way to do it. I can talk to you about that offline or online or anytime you want, but I can guarantee you if you switch in your mind right now and go, I want this person to leave with this, well, the greatest way to do that is to put them into a state that actually gets them to learn, which is a story. And it doesn't have to be a story of your past. It could be this morning. You know, the other day I was out to dinner and it was fascinating. There's a guy named Jack, and I walked into this, I didn't know Jack prior, and I was walking to the restaurant I'm one of these guys that doesn't like to play by the same rules as other people. I play by the rules. I don't break the rules, but I like to make my life work and be easier for me. So there's a great steakhouse called Dominic's over here, which I love. Mattson and I and his wife and my wife went a little while back. And this guy walks out. We look at each other. We shake each other's hands. We didn't know each other. And we started chatting. And we shared a conversation. But we finally realized that in that conversation, what we enjoyed was every person, when they realize they like somebody, has something deeper that they enjoy. And we looked at each other and we both loved efficiency. And what's fascinating is one of the things we usually want to ask people is, what do we have in common versus what is a belief that we share? So we become very good friends. He'll text me all the time. He goes, I was just at the airplane the other day. I cannot believe how inefficient this freaking airplane is. We joke. And we built an entire relationship, not based on church, not based on the Yankees, not based on this, on one common, simple belief. So as soon as you figure that out about people, that's what your book could be about. And if you could find that one little thing, you can build a tribe, you can build an audience. So what I just did is I'm just making it up as I go along, but everything can be portrayed as a story. So anyways, back to you. But so you've always loved stories and you've shared them. So you hustled at this camp. You go to college.
So that was kind of business number one. Business number two, we ran a canteen in high school. So
dude, you're a snacks man.
Snacks at lunch.
Yeah.
Then it was a landscaping, lawn care, and pressure washing business in high school.
Yeah.
The jack of all trades. And then it was a house painting business in college.
You did house painting?
Those were kind of the major milestones.
Okay, cool. Did you like the manual side of that?
I love manual labor, at least. Well, I got a love-hate relationship with manual labor. I love it because the blue collar kind of upbringing in me, you do a thing, you see the result.
Okay.
And it's not hard. We would be spreading pine straw. This is more the high school days for 13 hours and sweat out three outfits
pine
in a day.
Straw?
Pine straw, yeah.
That's a Carolina
It's
thing?
like a mulch substitute, basically.
I'm from Jersey.
Yeah.
We don't have we have asphalt.
Yeah, a lot of asphalt.
We have horses,
and concrete. But I think manual labor, you see the instant fruits, whereas knowledge work, like what we do today, a productive day is doing a bunch of one-on-ones, or is something else that's kind of more ethereal, and you don't see the instant gratification of the results. But then the hate part with the blue collar or with the physical labor is my dad just worked me to the bone growing up, and I think he did that because he wanted me to never have to do that. And so he said, I'm going to work you so hard that you're going to hope that you go get an education so you don't have to do manual labor your whole life.
Interesting.
Because he flunked out of college after a semester. And so I think he's kind of expressed that before of, hey, I wanted to show you all the stuff that you didn't want to do. So in that way, these days I'm like, yeah, I don't want to do manual labor hardly at all if I can pay someone to do it. But every now and then there's those times where I heard Nathan Barry say this quote the other day. It's, if you work with your mind, rest with your hands. If you work with your hands, rest with your mind, kind of thing.
That's pretty cool.
Which is, so sometimes it's the physical going out and spreading mulch that actually can help my mind clear versus just vegging out on some mindless thing.
It's interesting you say that because for myself, I love reading. I love old books. I love reading. I'm avid. I have thousands and thousands and thousands of books. But I will tell you, if I'm out in the garden or I'm out planting something or digging something, I don't want to do a project. But if I could just be outside and play, listen, if any of this stuff got hung on the wall, I didn't hang it if it's straight. You know what I'm saying? I'm not handy. I choose not to be on purpose. But it's interesting. It's a powerful quote. The concept where you do what you do right now and you help people get their word out of what they do. Was that the beginning of how the business started, or did it start as that? You just woke up one morning and go, man, I want to literally get people over their biggest fear in the world and help them get their book done. Number one fear in the world is get public speaking. Number two is who's that guy that wrote? Is it The War of Art? The guy that wrote Stephen Pressfield. Dude, there's nothing harder than getting your freaking book done because it's your passion, it's your resistance. So I believe you're doing some very deep, meaningful work, what you're doing, because you're helping people really share their feelings, their emotions, their dreams, their desires with the world. And I know a hairdresser can walk around and say, I make people feel beautiful and stuff, and they do. And there's people out there that are doctors that make people feel safe again and stuff. I don't believe there's anything more powerful for a life than somebody that can literally express what they're feeling inside and find a way to share it and actually multiply how to share it. So the gift of what you're giving people, the fact that, I don't want to say an average person, but just someone who's talented, has a desire and a feeling in their heart, you can help them get from stuck to get that out there. It's very, very rewarding, exciting. Did your company start off as that idea? Did you just get your own book done? You're like, I figured out how to do this. How did you just come up with that? Wake up one morning, we're just going to publish books for people. We're going to get 2 a day and build a cool team of people, because you got a cool team of people. I'm going to hit you up on hiring questions later too, because you had some really good stuff on I've been stalking you on social on how to hire good people. Your team looks awesome. So how did you go from hustler man from a blue collar family to working hard to being the difference maker in thousands of business owners' lives?
I think it's just scratching my own itch. It started with publishing a book or two. I published 2 books as I was dropping out of school.
What was your first book?
The first book's called The Productive Person. So it's productivity for entrepreneurs.
As you're dropping out of school.
Yeah.
As you're failing and dropping out of school, I'm writing a book. Listen, I almost didn't graduate. When I met Robert Kiyosaki, I almost didn't graduate college. Junior year of college, I met Robert Kiyosaki, and I read Rich Dad Poor Dad. I'm like, I'm done. It took everything in my soul to finish that last year and a half, because I'm like, this is bullshit. I don't need to be here anymore. So you are quitting school as you're writing a book about the productive person. Is that, was it called an oxymoron? What was that called?
Something like that. Or maybe it's the most productive thing you can do.
Dude, tell, because that's cool.
It's quit school. I think, it's funny because I dropped out with 1.5 years left.
Good for you to have the courage to do that.
It was about things I was learning, actually running businesses, that I watched all my friends that were entrepreneurs.
Yep.
They couldn't get over the hump. And so it didn't start out as a book. It just started out as a PDF that, hey, let's write this PDF with these things we're learning, and then just give it to our friends.
Did you type it or speak write it, or what'd you do? Dragon, remember Dragon,
yeah.
Speak 10?
Oh yeah, Dragon dictation or whatever. We just wrote it, typed it out in, Word doc or something. But then and then I dropped out of school and I was trying to start a business, but then people kept asking about the book stuff. And
did you publish that book?
Yeah, okay. Published the book. It did well. It's making money.
Okay, yeah. 11 years ago, how did you sell the PDF book? Like, I want to know this. It's a different world. Amazon was different. Just get me from save all on the computer to sending it to some printing company. Who was the printing company you worked with?
We worked directly with Amazon.
Okay, so you went straight to Amazon. Yeah. They printed for you. How did you get people to buy that thing? Like, out of all the books out there, like, what'd you do?
I think the tactics have changed, but there's fundamental principles that will never change, and it's basics of guerrilla marketing. And so I think in college, I ran a house painting company where they hand you some marketing material and a zip code and some training, and it's basically a franchise type
We're
thing.
a bunch of college kids, and
yes.
Cameron Harrell did that.
Yeah,
do you know
exactly.
Cameron?
Yep.
Oh, Cameron's one of my
Very
dear
well.
friends.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he did a College Pro.
College Pro. Yeah.
I did Student Painters.
Yeah. Okay.
Basically the same thing.
He did the Canadian version.
The Canadian A.
Canadian A. Shout out to Cameron.
He's great. But they teach you how to run a business by actually doing it. And then my rookie year, I was number 1 in the country, number 1 in the company, just doing guerrilla marketing.
So you knew how to sell.
I didn't until they taught me, but I knew how to work. So work is the thing that you can't teach. Everything else you can teach. So they just taught me all how to do everything. And I came in with a work ethic and some discipline and some commitment. I was never going to quit. And so
don't quit.
I just don't quit. And I'm going to outwork everyone. And so I knew that was my unfair advantage. It's the Will Smith thing of, if you put me and someone else on a treadmill trying to outlast the other person, one of 2 things will happen. 1, I will beat them, or 2, I will die on that treadmill. Like, there was just this, I am not quitting at this. This is what I want to do. And although there were some extremely difficult times, I just kept working until my skill set caught up with my effort. And eventually it did. And then that's how I became number 1 in the country and number 1 in the company. And then I just copy pasted all those things that I learned and applied them to a book.
So you took what made you successful versus why most people failed, quit, didn't do what they needed to do. It didn't matter what you were doing. It could be a missionary work. It could be door-to-door sales. It could be what Sam Taggart, I'm sure you know Sam. Sam's doing with his, door-to-door stuff. Yeah. All that kind of stuff. Interesting. So before we get into that, I had a aha the other day. I got to ask you a question. I think this would be really cool. Is it Kazem? You know Kazem? Yeah. He was at dude, you and I know a lot of the same people. He was at a group the other day, and he didn't mean to say this, but he indirectly said, there's 2 types of people. There's people that are goal-oriented and people that want to finish a task. Which one are you? Do you want to finish something, or are you like just literally, I will go till I get the goal? I figured out what I was, and I also figured out what my disconnect with other people is and my team and everything. And I very quickly now want to know this about people. And they sound similar. Task-oriented people want to feel like they're completing something. Goal-oriented people, they don't actually ever need to get the goal. They'll even push the goal farther down. They just want to go after something. Like the Olympics is a goal of a 9-year-old.
Yeah.
Task-oriented people want to really feel good because they got a goal that week or they did something. Which one are you? Like, when you were knocking on doors, like, is it like, was there something you were after, or
goal-driven? I mean, I told the CEO at the initial training, I walked up to the CEO and I said, I'm going to be number one in the country. I'm going to be number one in the company.
Yep.
And when I do that, not if I do that, when I make the cruise, which was the big reward, I'm going to buy you a bottle of wine on the cruise. And
I'm telling your mom.
I didn't know. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I guess they probably wouldn't have let me buy one. But I didn't know this at the time. But he told one of the key managers, he said, that guy is either going to do it or he's going to totally flame out in 3 weeks. And it's more than likely the latter, but we'll see. Like this guy's, and then it's funny, one of my buddies was giving a talk at my wedding, and he said another kind of similar thing from my econ teacher. He said, they were talking about me. He said, Chandler Bolt, he's either going to live in a mansion or in a trailer park, and he might just do both. And so I don't know what it was about me that had people saying this all the time. Maybe
one or the other.
Hubris or ignorance or just crazy blind goal orientation. But I think I'm goal oriented.
Yeah, you are goal.
But I think the trap that I fall in, which I would assume that maybe a lot of other people do as well, is you chase task completion, thinking that it's helping you reach the goal but it's really just making you feel productive. It's back to the blue collar thing. I spread the mulch. I take a before and after picture. There's my work. 13 hours later, this house looks better. Versus knowledge-based stuff. It's not 1 + 1 = 2. It's
7.3 times 654 = 4 = 1. Some weeks it equals nothing another week.
Yeah.
And you got to keep going, and we're going to change it as we go. Yeah.
And you hope it works. But so
yeah,
I think
you're a goal guy.
I think at my best, I'm a goal guy. At my worst, I'm a task rabbit.
We're all task things. So the reason I brought this up is like with teams, he was talking about how when you work with your team, it's like you've got to realize they don't have sometimes same goals you have, of like getting to this long thing down the road. They have it in other areas of their life. So you've got to look at their task they have and go, great job. That's awesome. You got that. Even helping people get their books done. Great job. You got one word done. Yay. You got a chapter done. That's awesome. Now let's work together to get chapter 2 versus me. I'm going to be like, it is not done. I'm like Drago. It is not done until the book is done and sold. Right. And then anyways, so sidetrack you with that. So the idea of this, so it's hilarious. I mean, that you drop out of school, which most people would think is just complete failure. And you're writing a book on productivity that you learned from door-to-door sales, which again is looked at as, it's funny because if you look at door-to-door as to the general like corporate door-to-door, you would do door-to-door. It's like very, what would you call it?
Look down
on, not like sexy, whatever, but it's like the greatest skill. Everyone I know that does great at anything learned the psychology of how to deal with themselves and make things happen and knock door-to-door. Like almost every great copywriter knows door-to-door. So you wrote this book for yourself. If you could give everybody right now, like 3 guerrilla tactics, like 3 things, if you had a minute and you were like, literally like your kid, you have kids?
Not yet.
Not yet. But when you do, you have the Matt Deal. We're going to talk in the future. You got this little boy or little girl and they got their $9 lunch money and they want to turn the lunch money into something else. What would you say 3 things in like a minute that somebody can do to get a book or get their info product or something like out there and purchased quickly? Like 3 little things or one little thing, like literally make this move, do this thing. It could be something everyone's heard before, but I guarantee we got a bunch of, I teach people learnings for losers and implementations for winners. So give them one thing they can do. Well, hey guys, I want to take a quick opportunity right now and remind you that Average Sucks is not just an incredible podcast. It is a way of life. It is a way of being, and the title of my best-selling book that shows you step by step. I literally walk through exactly how in my life and in the lives of our incredible students, I showed them how to live an above average life, whether it's in your business, whether it's with your finance, with your health, any area of your life that you're looking to scream those words, average sucks, get to the next level, get out of your box in life. This book will show you exactly how to do it. Get your copy at averagesucks.com or Amazon or wherever books are sold. Get your copy right away and get out there and start living a life that screams average sucks. Get the book.
I'll go 3 because that was your original prompt.
59, 58. Go ahead.
I'm going to go, 1 is go for no.
Okay.
Try to get 5 no's a day. Don't go for yes. If you go for no, well, then the no's will lead you to the yeses. I would say the second thing is do the things that don't scale. So it's knocking on one door at a time. It's when I was marketing the book, I sent a video, customized personal video to every single person that I wanted to leave a review on the book. And then, oh my gosh, so weird. We got a ton of reviews on that book because I did the guerrilla marketing, scrappy hand-to-hand combat that doesn't scale. And then the third thing I would say is going to fly in the face of that, which is look for leverage. So look for these levers. For me, it was media and PR, where I said, all right, I'm going one-to-one. How do I go one-to-many? So instead of knocking on one door at a time, every time I was walking into these doors, I realized I'm walking by a mailbox. What's in all these mailboxes? A newspaper. Well, how do I just get in the newspaper? Then I'll be in 30,000 doors, 30,000 mailboxes. Yep. And so then I spend an hour a week reaching out to the newspaper and the local news. And within a couple months, I got multiple features in the newspaper. I got on local TV. I got a proclamation from multiple mayors. All this stuff, that was one-to-many. So then now the phone's ringing off the hook because I look for leverage. So go for no, do the things that don't scale, and then look for leverage.
So let's go deep here right now. Do you think, I have a weird belief system. Do you believe the third one would have worked if you didn't do the first two? Like from a spiritual standpoint, from like I teach people like if you make enough calls out, something calls in. And it's not the law of numbers. It's like the universe or whatever you believe in, God telling you like, yeah, let's reward this guy right now. So do you believe that the media would have worked if you weren't a guerrilla guy?
No, because I would have been afraid of no. And so I think go for no has to be the first one because you got to get numb to no.
Yep.
And the first time I ever knocked on doors, they told me if you knock on doors, you'll get one lead an hour.
Yep.
And I knocked on doors for 3 hours and I got no leads. And I ran my business in the South. And so not only did I not get leads, I got people threatening guns on me. I got people cussing me out.
Nice.
Telling me to get off their property.
Overpainting their house.
And so all that happened. But then within 24 hours, I go back to college, to my dorm, and I get 3 women's phone numbers that you could
write a book on that too. I mean, that's a married man. Like, go for no.
Not now.
Go for no. Learn how to scale.
I'm not touching that. But yeah, I mean, go for no. How to get any woman's phone number in less than 24 hours could be a book that someone could write out there.
But what are the three habits? Go for no. Yeah. What was number 2?
Do things that don't scale.
Do things that don't scale, which means like make personal videos and personal DMs, and then look for leverage. You get their friends to introduce you. Yes.
Okay.
New book.
Someone wants to write that book. I'm not writing that book.
So challenge to anybody who wants to reach out. How does somebody get a hold of you if they want to write that book?
Go to selfpublishing.com / Michael Bernoff.
Yeah, I'll tell you, some like $15 off discount if you want to write that book, and we'll help you do the pitch for it. I don't know, I'm just making something up, but you get the concept. So your biggest thing right now, you did that, How to Be Productive. Was it a big win, that first book? What did it bring in?
I mean, a few $1,000s a month.
Fantastic.
Does
it still pay? Does it still sell?
Very, very minimal.
What'd you get last week from
market? I have no idea.
Last month?
I have no idea.
A couple months ago?
No idea.
You have no idea?
I mean, maybe $100 or.
It's still paying you?
Yeah.
Like 11 years later?
A little bit. Yeah.
So a book pays.
It does.
It's funny.
But it's more about the business that you can drive from the book. Now, when I published it, it paid the bills when I dropped out of college.
Yep.
But then that game has changed, and you need to use the book to feed into your business, and that's the most profitable way to do it. And so that's the way that we recommend, obviously.
Unless you're a president or Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
You're Taylor Swift, you take your $50 million signing bonus, and then you're done. Like, that doesn't matter. But for the general public, self-publishing, and I self-published our book. I didn't know you back then, but I self-published our book. I loved it because my buddy, who we both mentioned, sat me down. He goes, Bernoff, you are so controlling like an entrepreneur. The last thing in the world you would ever want to do is have somebody publish your book for you. You're going to want full control over that to do what you want to do. You are not going to want to call Tom, Dick, and Harry and say, can I have 50 books, 500 books delivered to New York next week? So he sat me down and he goes, do not go with a traditional publishing company. Get self-published. And I never even considered it ever again. So I love the name of your company. How'd you buy the domain name?
That's a crazy story, actually.
That wasn't available, was it?
So it was a company that already existed, and
it was $25, right?
Dogged determination. It was a lot more than $25. Dogged determination, and mixed with a little bit of a motivated seller. And so the guy who was the previous owner, he had passed away, and it was, other people in the company at that point that were kind of remaining. And I got an intro, and then I just hounded these people. So I'll tell you two funny lessons learned or
you're gonna tell me a story?
I'm gonna tell you.
You're gonna tell me a story? Look at you teaching me through a story. It's already working. My coaching is working.
It is.
Go ahead.
I didn't realize I'd tell so many stories. So
be blessed. You do.
There were 2 things. I had a buddy who taught me this trick one time. He said, here's how you meet anyone. You tell them that you're going to be in their city for a business trip, and you're coming on, it's kind of up in the air, but you're coming on this date or this date.
You did that to me today.
Yes. Actually, yeah.
You use leverage. You got your friend to tell me that.
Yeah, that's actually true. But I didn't hit you with an either or close. Yeah. So this is like the next level.
Go ahead.
And so you tell them, hey, it's looking like it's going to be this date or this date. Are you available on either of those dates? And then when they say yes, you just book the whole trip around that.
Oh, beautiful.
And so it's you're giving them phantom dates that, yeah, sure, you got a business trip that you are planning. You just didn't say that they're the whole reason that you're planning the trip.
And
you book around them. And so they were based out of New York. And so they had been blowing me off for months. And so I realized I got to get there. And so I hit them with that. I said, hey, oh my gosh, you won't believe this. I'm coming to New York for a business trip. It looks like it's going to be this date or this date. Which one do you think is going to work for you? Or are you available either of those dates? And then they said, yeah. And they said, okay, look at that. It's booked. And so I remember this felt like my first business meeting ever. I lived in San Francisco at the time. I took a red eye. And something about it, I don't know, maybe just growing up in South Carolina, I remember going to New York City as a kid and thinking, one day I'm going to make it and I'm going to be here. I'm going to live here because this is where people who go who make it. And so I remember boarding that flight from San Francisco, going to New York and having this feeling. I had been in business for years. We had done millions of dollars in revenue. Everything was on Zoom. And it just felt like this is my first legit business. I'm flying to New York for a business meeting. This is crazy. It's happening. And I flew a red eye, woke up in Times Square. And
you got off the plane first, right?
Yeah, I mean, I got out of the plane.
Double check.
We did not. This was not a terrorist situation. And I'm in Times Square. I go meet him in this lawyer's office, and it's me in this lawyer's office with them, pitching them, coming prepared with stuff on why they should sell me the domain and the assets, and got like a loose yes. That I just am, it goes back to the dogged determination. Mm-hmm. It's dog on a bone. I'm not letting go of this.
Bolts don't quit.
You both don't quit. You got to do it in a way that's tactful, but I just hounded them until we got that deal done. And then they tried to pull out multiple times and just, we're figuring this out. And so we got the domain and then we built it up from scratch. Basically it was Microsoft Paint domain that looked horrible, got no traffic.
It had no SEO or anything.
No SEO. And so we built that. And then, a year or two later, it's doing 75, 100 grand a month in sales for self-publishing school, which was the brand at the time.
Did they own selfpublishingschool.com too?
No, they didn't. Okay. But that was our brand, right?
Oh, that was you.
The business was self-publishing school. And so we just used it as a feeder into the main business. And then eventually we said, hold up, we're trying to own the self-publishing space. Why don't we just rebrand the whole company? And so we did. And we've been selfpublishing.com ever since.
That's fantastic. I love stories like that. Dogged determination. I mean, that could be, it's fascinating. So let me ask you a couple things. So you took your book. People started asking you, who was the first person you wrote a book for that you paid you to write a book, helped you get started? Like, who was that? Or first couple? Like,
that was terrifying.
Okay. So
terrifying because, I don't know, when you operate with integrity, you want to make sure that...
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
People do that?
It's crazy.
Wow.
It's a weird
And I
thing.
believe you. I've known you now a little bit. I mean, I'm going to tell you, it's been a solid 90 minutes or so. We have been searching you online. I feel like I've known you forever, but we got to meet you. You got a deep rooted heart for caring about people.
What's interesting, the higher up on the ladder you go, you realize that all the most successful people are the ones that operate with the most integrity.
Agreed.
But when you're just getting started, you think that you got to cut corners to get ahead.
Look at those people.
Yeah, you think, oh, well, they're doing that thing and they're ahead of me, so that must be the way that people operate. But no, you can operate with integrity and still win. And so, but I think it was terrifying because my mentor, he said, sell it, then build it. Don't build it and try to sell it. And I'd made that mistake before, because if you build the thing that you think people want and no one buys it, you just wasted all your time. So validate the idea by selling it, then build it. So we signed up a cohort of 44 people, and we were very transparent. We said, hey, we've done this successfully.
We're going to teach
what we did. We've never guided people through this successfully, but you're going to get the most access.
What was it, a lecture, a seminar,
pricing.
or what was it?
It was group coaching.
Okay.
And then it was group
for
coaching,
like a year?
One-on-one for 90 days. Or maybe it's 90 days or maybe 6 months.
And you get the book done in 90 days?
And that was the goal.
Wow.
I want to say it was, maybe it's a 6-month boot camp with some one-on-one coaching group. And then we would have the VIPs, which got the one-on-one. And so then we would just have them ask us the questions. And then the week after that, we put out the content on all the problems that they had solving all the problems that they had, and so what ended up happening is we created just-in-time content that was exactly what people needed, fed by the people who were asking the questions on the bleeding edge of achieving that thing. And we looked up 6 months later, and I think it was 60% of our cohort of 44 people had already written and published a book in less than 6 months.
That's amazing.
Bonkers, especially for our industry, right? And so then that's where there was the validation of we can teach this now. And then we started scaling. Because
that's a scary thing. So I grew up, one of my mentors taught me that too. Like I have for original CDs and tapes back in the day. I'm older than you. And I had tapes and CDs. I would sell it. And then I'd have to go and freaking get in the studio and make it, right? And that's the same type of concept. I want to make sure people want it. If not, I give them their money back and whatever, blah, blah, blah. To look someone in the eyes and go, I can help you, and you've never actually done it before, it's scary. It's in anything. It's probably why when the painting business at the beginning, most people fail because like, well, I don't even know what a full job looks like if I were to actually be able to do this. So if you take a peek at looking someone in the eyes and they'd go to you like, Chandler, do you really think I can get my book done? And you're like, I've never done this before except for myself. And you have to look them in the eyes and say, yes, I can help you. Yes, I can do this. That is a very, very scary thing, correct?
It's extremely scary because someone's putting their hopes and dreams in your hand.
Yeah.
And there's nothing
What do you feel about that? Like, I don't think you've ever even said those words before. Like, think about that for a second. Somebody's putting their hopes, their dreams, and they're handing them to you. That's a big responsibility you have. That's our transference. Actually, that's all salespeople, isn't it?
It is. It's any sales.
I don't think I've ever said that in my entire life. Have you?
No.
Think about that. It's like, here, I want to share with you my hope and my dream is to have that car. One of my dreams is to not have to pay electricity anymore, and I want to buy your solar. One of my dreams is to make this home look beautiful. I'm gonna trust you, and I haven't trusted people in a long period of time, and I've been hurt before. Here, you hold this. Think of that's where integrity is so big. That's our responsibility. Let's dig on that for a couple seconds.
I think the ultimate expression of that is marriage and probably your faith.
Yep.
Like those are the two. Is I'm going to put my hopes and dreams in you if I'm marrying you, and I'm
already married, but thank you. Yes, sure, you. Yes.
But then in faith, it's like, hey, I'm going to put my
hope in something I can't see.
Yeah, something I can't even see.
I don't even know if he's up there.
Yeah. But, and then there's layers that come down from that, right? And I think a book has got to be pretty high up on that list because we talk about all the time as a team. We facilitate one of the 3 to 5 greatest days in someone's life. There's maybe the day that they got married, maybe the day that they had a kid, and then there's the day that they published their book. And so I think it's pretty high up there. But I think early on it was more terrifying than it is now because the burden of proof has been met. Early on, it was, I don't know, can I help you? And so it was terrifying to feel like these people are paying us money with an expectation. I don't want to let them down. And I don't even know that I can help them, but I think that I can. And then you prove it. And then now, we've published 7,000 books, publish 2 to 5 books a day. So now it's not that intimidating. Now, when I walk it earlier today to Pace's office and we map out his whole book and we mapped that out and we said, okay, if we do this well, this can be a $10 million book launch. And then he said, well, I think you're really challenging me to think too small. I think we can do 20 million. And he's like, why are you pushing me to think smaller? I'm like, because I want you to be happy. I'm like, I want to exceed your expectations.
He's thinking I can do 10 million on a real estate deal. Why do I need this book? Right.
And I'm thinking, what my parents taught me growing up, under promise, over deliver. Yeah. And so, or we're working with Dean and Tony on their book. Okay. That makes me nervous because I want to make sure that their expectations are met and that they're happy with this experience. And I'm proving myself maybe in a different and higher level way. But all the other stuff is like, hey, we've done this a bajillion times. If somebody puts in the work, we can help them be successful.
I love it. So let me ask this. You've mentioned some big names. We got Tony, Dean, Pace. Most people know Dean and Tony, and Pace, local but not local anymore. Local Arizona guy, but just all over the world now. He's doing just great things. I got to connect with him. The interesting thing about this is people listening right now are going, oh, okay, like doing what I did in high school. Like, oh, that's for them. Like looking at the guy dating the girl that you wanted to date in high school. Like, oh, he gets that girl. Or like, oh, that guy makes the team. Or that guy goes to Wimbledon. Or those people. Who's writing a book for? Like what, like ideally, like after your 7,000 books, Not all, let's be honest, not all. Some people made it through the cracks. I'm going to be very direct, and you know this much as I do. Not all 7,000 were like, yay! Some were like, I wish somebody would have stopped you. Maybe this wasn't right for you. Does that make sense? But you learned your lesson. Of the 90% that did incredibly well, like they got their book is now leading to Lead Magnet. It's leading to speaking engagements. I mean, I sold almost 80,000 copies of my book, but that's probably produced $50 million in sales from additional coaching and other speaking engagements and other stuff as well. My building rentals, people, all kinds of stuff. Who's it right for? Like, who should be listening right now going, there's a book in me? Like, I think there's a book in everybody's soul. I think it's a book in everybody's heart. I think a book in everybody's mind. But who should be listening right now and going, okay, I like this crazy Southerner guy. You know, I like this. He's got some good stories. Seems like a nice guy. Concept self-publishing, got a good name. Who should reach out? Like, who should be listening right now going, maybe a book's right for me. They've already done the math. They've already thought to themselves, it's between this amount and this. I can afford it. I'll skip a vacation this year. I'll skip some Starbucks. I'll buy this book. Who's it right for?
I think there's two buckets. There's you have to do this, which is you have some sort of successful business.
Yep.
You're an idiot if you don't publish.
But you own a tire company. You got 2 locations. You're killing it. You're doing $1 million a year. You should have a book.
That would be the most maybe well, no, I wouldn't say not. I would say that's the least obvious business owner book. The most obvious business owner book is you've got a knowledge-based business doing 7 figures or more. You have to have a book. And if not, you're a moron. Because you're just
double moron,
Triple. Absolute idiot
with cooties,
with cooties. So that's the no-brainer. Now the tire shop guy, maybe that's a local brand play or whatever else. But then I think there's the other bucket, which is you have life lessons or story that you want to tell, or maybe even this fiction or children's book that's just dying to get out of you.
You do children's books?
We got a children's book school. We got a fiction book arm. We got all that stuff. So a lot of parents or teachers read children's book to their kids and they think this is so stupid. I could write a better book than this. That's where a lot of our children's book authors come from. But it's this burning desire. You know, this New York Times says 81% of people want to write a book. We know that less than 1% do. So if you're in that bucket and you're like, hey, this is just maybe a personal brand. This is just for my kids or my future generations. I'm just kind of dying to do this. Cool. Do it. And that's a probably should bucket. But then if you've got a successful knowledge and expertise, that's the have to have it.
So knowledge and expertise. I remember sitting through, I think I was like 20 years old. I went to Tony Robbins' event. He said the word state all the time. Like, I didn't know what he was talking about. I just went along with state. What do you mean? What do you mean by state, right? And it was interesting. I didn't know what the word meant. So when people hear knowledge base right now, what do we mean? Like, you had a knowledge base because you did sales and you had a knowledge base of how bolts don't quit. What a great name of a book. The bolts don't quit, and it's a story about a bolt in a wall, and it stayed forever. And you bought this house. I'm visualizing this whole opening of the book. You know, I was with my buddy Pace Morby, and we're talking about investment properties. We went to this home that was 300 years old, and we found a bolt in the wall. And when I realized we were tearing the whole house down, my son goes, "What's that?" And I easily could have said to my son, "This is happy that you're about to have," and I easily could have said to my son, "Do you know what I'm saying? That's a bolt."
Don't quit.
And I said, "Bolts don't quit. That's 300 years old, probably from Little House on the Prairie back in the day." Do you know what I'm saying? And I want you to take that. And I gave it to him. Now it lives on his nightstand. But anyways, side note, knowledge base means what? Like, let's break it down. Give me 5 knowledge base businesses, like five people that we know, because we all know Tony or Dean or in our world.
So the obvious one in our world is coaches, courses, seminars, that sort of that would be in a bucket. Then there's the knowledge base of financial services.
Bingo.
If you had a lot of years and expertise to be able to do what you do, you run a knowledge-based business.
Yeah.
So that you could be a chiropractor, you could be a doctor, you could be, or
people that help people.
You're in upper management and you learn this thing about HR or about hiring or about some random thing that's essential to succeeding at what you do. You're excellent at IT, or you're these days an AI expert. It's like, okay, well then you've spent a lot of time, money, and energy learning those things. It's probably the things that you wish someone else taught you. Capture that knowledge, package that knowledge into a book, and that book will be one of the best things you ever do to grow your business.
I think one of the crystallizations of getting the book done was we got a friend in common, Michael. That's how we met. And when he worked on our brand, one of the biggest things he said to me, he said, if you want to make it easier to bring people on your team or actually have the right type of customers, when you understand what your brand does. So one of the greatest ways to understand what your brand does is to write a book and to crystallize what it is you do. So if you ever want to like understand what you do and crystallize it, like if I ran a sales team, I'd want a copy of that book that you Bolts Don't Quit basically years ago. So I think forced coaching to allow yourself to find 7 or 10 principles of what it is that you do, crystallize it down so someone else can understand it. One good hire is worth absolutely the cost and the investment of working with you. One good client is worth the book.
Yeah.
And you don't naturally, so I think the gift is for the author is to finally have the confidence, clarity, and culture inside of them. So I know I'm pitching for you and I've never directly worked with you before, but let's go. Let's make it happen. So anything else you want to, I know we're going to be wrapping here pretty soon. I could talk to you for hours about entrepreneurship and I'd love to do some stuff again. And what is your Instagram? Because I saw it the other day. It was really
right. For now, it's real Chandler Bolt.
Yeah.
But mostly I didn't have an Instagram until 6 months
I saw that. You're like 8 people. Get in the door. Like, what? Dude, how could you?
This is
smart that you didn't.
It's 6 months old, basically. But that's because we're building out the media brand.
Yep.
So selfpublishing.com, we're doing a bunch of content there on the YouTube channel.
That's where people should go.
That's the main hub is selfpublishing.com, Instagram, and YouTube, long form and short form. But then now we're doing some stuff with Chandler Bolt side of things. And that's just teaching how to scale to 8 figures and a bunch of the non-sexy operational stuff.
Got it. You're doing that too?
Gotta have. Yeah, that's just more for fun. I've done that for a long time. I put it on the shelf for a while. I used to do videos that it was my friends would always, because I was known as kind of like the ops guy.
Yep.
Like I don't know, for whatever reason,
you
my
do
brain
ops
is
and
really
sales?
operational.
Dude, that's impressive. Ops and sales. You're a rare breed.
Yeah, it's a weird dichotomy. But I think
Brunson's that way too. Like it's very rare.
Well, he's a genius marketer. Even I would say that's his greatest strength.
But he's also an ops. He actually has the ability to actually organize it in a process.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Where he's process and sales driven.
Yeah.
And I'm 99% influence and sales driven with 0. I can't stand organization or processes. So I need my wife is the process person.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good match. I think. It was all that stuff that my friends like you would say, oh, you're running an offsite. Like, how do you run these offsites? Or, oh, you're doing this. And so it was just these so I just started recording videos over there so basically I could just send them the video instead of having a one-off conversation about all that stuff. And so we're kind of picking that back up. It's been fun.
So you do that as well. So if anybody listening, scaling's interest, they should reach out. Yeah.
Well, they should check out our content. I mean, I've got nothing to sell over there. That is, on YouTube, it's Chandler Bolt, and on Instagram, as of recently, it's real Chandler Bolt.
And you're laughing about your Instagram. What's funny is after enough of these shows, it's going to go through the, it's going to go.
We're going to get a new handle. It's mostly because all these scammers, because they found out that I didn't have an Instagram. So they just made all these scam profiles over the years.
Okay.
Because if you went to Instagram, you would find no one. So they're like, well, why don't we just have them find us and we can scam people?
Got it.
And so now all of those Instagram handles are taken because they were shut down.
Yeah. Well, now that you can do the little blue check mark thing, you might be able to fight that off a little. I might know a couple people on Instagram that can help you get past that. That you'll need to talk to. I know a couple of characters over there that'll be able to help you out. So anything that you didn't share that you'd like to share? I mean, I know you cover a lot of stuff. My outcome here was to get to know you a little bit. I love bringing in people, get to know their psychology, how they think, what they do. I believe anybody listening to this right now that I don't think anybody woke up today and decided they want to do a book today. I think books have been living inside of people for years and they rot. It's like a rot inside of like your body's 96% water. That physical paper book is rotting inside. And I think people need to get it out. So it stops rotting. It starts living, gets the wings, does what it needs to do. Is the biggest push right now, like what makes you what drives you each day to want to do this for people?
It's fun.
You love it?
Yeah.
What's the fun part? Because your Instagram's hilarious. You're like, look, we got more books published. Look at this one. It's a hardback. I love me a hardback. You know I've been watching your channel. I love me a hardback.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of not fun parts and not sexy parts about scaling a business. But I don't know. I think I have this sounds so douchey, but I feel like I have God-given abilities that when I came on this earth, God said, hey, business is your thing. That's the way that you can shine your light, that you can help people, that you can make a massive impact. And I don't have a lot of other talents that people have, but that is my talent. And so I love it, and it's fun, and you get to create your own future. You get to create. Business is literally solving problems. It's just finding problems in the world and then solving them in creative, non-traditional ways that other people haven't thought of. What's more fun than that?
That's exciting.
So fun. And then you get to, in the process, as a byproduct, change the lives of your customers, change the lives of your employees, change your whole family tree, make a ton of money, donate a ton of that money if you choose to charities and nonprofits, but then also do crazy fun stuff.
Yeah. And that's what you
That's
offer
cool.
people.
Yeah, it's
Every day of the week.
amazing. That's what happens when you have the leverage of a business. And in my opinion, that's what happens when you leverage a book.
Yep.
You create leverage,
Yep.
that 80,000 copies,
Yep.
$50 million in
Yep.
sales, probably on the back end from this book. I mean, it opens up all these other opportunities.
Super exciting. Super exciting. So, all right, my man. So how do people reach out to you? I know you mentioned it a couple times. We'll put it in the show notes as well. I'd love you to say it slowly and clearly.
Yeah.
And because I guarantee several people watching this right now going, and they're going to probably dial the number like they're dialing for prom. Does that make sense? And they're going to dial like a bunch of times, and they're going to sit there, and eventually they're going to send the email. So there's the website, and then like I always say, there's two types of people. Send them the website, and like, how does someone like literally just get a hold of you?
Yeah. So I'll say two things. Obviously, there's the YouTube and all the
Yeah.
content.
That's for the people that want to look still. They're like peeking around, but there's three groups of people.
If you're ready to roll,
Yep.
publishedbook.com/audio. That's my newest book on audio for free. So that's a really great resource.
Publishedbook.com/audio. Something to listen to.
So that's something to listen to. And then selfpublishing.com/Michael Bernoff. And that'll go directly to our site. That's where you can book a call with our team. And if you want strategy for your book, if you want to kind of map out goals, all that stuff, then that's the easiest place.
Perfect. And just to be clear with everybody watching, I get zero for doing this. The reason he does the Michael Bernoff thing is literally to track where people came from so he can have a normal conversation with you. So I'll let you know if there was anything, I'd give it to you. And the cool part is I'm not that I don't want anything, but I really just want to be really clear. My biggest goal for all of you is why I had you on was there's a lot of bullshit people in your world. There's a lot of guys that make AI fake books for people. You guys are making beautiful books, helping people bring the most out of them. When you told me those two types that you do earlier, which you didn't talk on the show, get on the phone with them. There's two types of books and two ways that they work with people. And one is if you like love writing and you're like this author that wants to write. Another has got the ability, if you don't have the time and they really want to help, you've got some geniuses in your team, some of the best ghostwriters and authors in the world that they can work with, correct? To help them bring things out.
The best.
Yeah. Like I know on the intro of my book, our friend that we mentioned earlier, he's not in the business anymore, but Tucker literally helped me write the first chapter himself.
Yeah.
And a guy that he sold 10 million copies of a book. You need great people potentially to ghostwrite with you, which is awesome. So appreciate having you on. This has been a journey. I will finish the show by saying a couple of things. Your parents were right. And you probably make sure to always remember that because they taught you some incredible morals. All those kids in school were 100% wrong. Being a Boy Scout actually helped you become the person you are today. And then Bolts never quit. And I cannot wait one day if you guys do choose to have a family to carry on that tradition. And I will buy the shirts that say Bolts don't quit. And I think it's a great brand. Absolutely amazing. And it's an honor to connect with you today. And so for those of you watching right now, if you gain something from the show, make certain to go out there and subscribe to the channel. And on top of that, share this with somebody that matters because as entrepreneurs and people out there in the world, the key is not to only take the material into yourself. The most selfish things that we do in the world is we keep it to ourselves and say, it's only for us. I'm going to keep this for me. I guarantee by putting this on your channel, your wall, sharing it, sending a text, making a TikTok, sharing this with somebody you care about is going to make a difference in somebody's day, whether they tell you or not. All of us have to work together to get what we want. Chandler Bolt, pleasure. I'm excited about our friendship. I'm excited about this, and I'm excited to get this through the world.
This is fun.
And we're going to grow your Instagram channel.
Let's go.
Let's go. All right, I want to break in here real quick and remind you that motivation and mindset do not happen by accident. They happen by choice. They happen by decision. And why not start off the week in the most incredible way with an incredible Monday mindset that you can activate in less than 90 seconds. Go to michaelbernoff.com/Monday Mindset. And you'll get access to our quick 90-second emails and videos that we will send every single Monday to activate your mindset in business and personal and every aspect of your life so you can guarantee to live an above average life. michaelbernoff.com/Monday Mindset. Get your access today.